Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Welcome to Into the Twilight. We're live streaming here from the closed portal.
Fuck. Oh, gone too soon. Rip.
A reference that when someone starts listening to this podcast in 3 years and they tweet us about that, I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What do you mean? What portal?
What portal? What are you talking about?
The video game? I'm confused.
The video game, back when I was undiagnosed and like puzzles used to make me get like violently angry because they overstimulated me. But Portal's dope. Hey, what was up with that though? You know?
What was up with that?
What was up with that portal?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, rip to that for sure. It was supposed to last for 6 months uninterrupted. Got shut down 6 days in, so not great. Not great on that.
This is why group projects don't work.
Yeah, you know, listen, the idea is fun. Do we trust people, especially and particularly connecting and conversing from, Manhattan, Times Square to Dublin? Some, types of folks who maybe aren't known for being the classiest, most respectful of others. But, hey, got shut down.
Just the most unfiltered people.
Yeah, there was some flashing.
Connected
there
to
were
each other.
people showing 9/11 through the portal. So that was tough. That was not great.
It's great. It's not a time capsule, folks.
No. But Diva Down, R.I.P.
I saw some really woke shit on Twitter that someone was like, they need to do it again, but they need to put it at both Eiffel Towers. So the one in Vegas and the one in Paris. And I think that's genius.
That's a 5-head idea for sure.
I know.
Yeah, that's genius.
Because are you kidding me? They should have started there.
Yeah.
To be honest. Anyways, I love the idea, but people can't be trusted.
No.
Just don't put another thing in Times Square.
Right.
How about that?
There's already too many. There's been
How about you start removing stuff from Times Square, actually?
Right.
How about that instead? God. Unfortunately, this is not... Can we just... Hey, Future Cody, if you could just add some, free... sad music, sad piano music under that'd be great.
Sure.
For our in memoriam of the portal that was gone too soon. That'd be super dope.
You got it.
But welcome into Twilight.
Hey.
Vampire content has never been more back. You're welcome.
Right. We are personally responsible.
You're very welcome. We have no current events this week, which is super great, because I'm very excited about whatever current event or whatever happy thing that you have posted.
Yeah.
In our notes here. How are you?
I'm here. I'm living. I thought long and hard because I have been consuming a lot of content, but I am inescapably just full of Challenger's fever, and I can't think and breathe about anything else, And I thought it was appropriate.
I'm so glad that it's coming to VOD so I can watch it.
It is on
now.
VOD currently, so I thought it'd be relevant. So if those who cannot see it in the theater would like to experience horny tennis, I got great news. You can do that. But particularly, because everyone's talking about the film, whatever, I don't want to get too deep into it because my brain is poisoned by everything inside of it now. But the fucking score is incredibly important.
Okay, I've heard nothing. I've heard everyone is talking about this score. Yeah. What are they talking about? Because you know that I'm a nerd for a score. Yeah. So what is it?
Listen, it is my dad's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross making something beautiful for me, which is essentially what feels like just the sickest, like, PlayStation 1 music.
Okay.
It's like beeps and boops. It's synths. It's scratching my brain in every place. And making me feel like I could kill God while listening to it. You know what I mean?
Wait, hold on. So, like, this horny Challengers movie is, like, underscored by, like, fucking Atari shit?
I mean, yes, but also in a way that, like, makes sense. Like, it is also, there's, like, there's different, like, you know, ebbs and flows to it. But, like, the most intense, like, parts of it, particularly, like, the action stuff and, like, the sports movement and things, are like this high octane, high energy, but like very goofy in a great way, of beeps and boops and scratches and all that jazz. And it's incredible.
All that jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also one of those
okay.
show tunes the whole time. It's a musical. You didn't know that? Just kidding. But it's incredibly important. There's also like a remix version of the score that I think a German producer group did, which also fucks extremely. But it is literally this photo. I will try my best to describe it to someone, which is a very popular meme when someone makes a banger fucking album, especially an electronic album, of someone holding a guitar, a bass, unclear, who knows, and synths, but also with like the magic wand massager / vibrator on
a
the
very
strings.
like DJ Pauly D
yes
setup meets magic wand,
and that's what it feels like in my brain. Like it's doing that to my brain when I'm listening to it. And I'm not particularly like someone who listens to scores like when I'm working and stuff, because I get distracted more by the music than like something with lyrics for some reason or words.
I love that we're the opposite.
Yeah, because if I'm not locked in, but with this, I'm like I could do anything. I'm currently levitating as I'm listening. I'm doing 360 no scopes. I'm spinning. I'm powerful, and maybe I could play tennis. I can't, and I won't. But in my head, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, baby. Also,
it is. Yeah. It sounds. I've only heard amazing things about this movie.
Yeah.
And so when I got the notification that it was going on VOD this early, mm-hmm. I screamed in the street because I was like, I can't wait to finally understand what you all are talking about.
Yeah, it's incredible. And also a very important note about this movie, which I often forget, is the guy who wrote it is the dude who made that potion seller video on YouTube 800 years ago. With the what was it, photo booth, like the photo booth video where it kept getting the faces and stuff. Yeah, that's him. He wrote the fucking movie. Whoa. So shout
Art
out
is beautiful,
Justin Koretsky's. If that is how I pronounce your name, I apologize. But he's like a proper fucking writer, doing shit.
Wow. And
he wrote this movie, which is very important to me.
This really hot movie.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I knew that it was on VOD and then I forgot.
Yeah.
And so now I'm going to watch the hot tennis movie tonight. That's a beautiful.
Absolutely. I love this for you.
Plans.
How are you doing?
I need to scroll away from the magic wand photo that you posted, 'cause it's
a little too intense. That's fair.
It's the intricacies of the DJ booth is distracting me.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. There were so many different ideas of what I had to talk about this week, but I had to bring something that has brought me the most amount of joy, which is a TLC-esque show that I'm bringing to the space.
Love it.
And I didn't realize until I was pulling up the photo for this that it's apparently on Max, and I didn't know that because I had been watching apparently ripped episodes on YouTube. So shout out to that creator that's just been apparently posting them on YouTube because I didn't think I would get access to them. And it's called The Doghouse UK.
Yes. I'm so in already.
So the reason why I'm calling it a TLCS show is that it's a very like easy watch, light watch, asterisk. I've cried in every episode.
Okay.
And here's why.
Yeah.
Because it is, the main focus is this dog shelter in the UK that takes in a lot of dogs that need to be rehomed, a lot of strays, all these things. And it's on this like very beautiful camp, like it's a full ass campus that they have. And every episode, a couple of like people and families will come in and they get matched with a dog during this time. And it's kind of like a very say yes to the dress-esque process where they have a whole like consultation, and then the shelter employee does their whole like hack into the matrix to find the right dog, and then they set them up outside in this very curated garden kind of thing.
Okay.
But I have cried in every episode because this is my weak point. This is my Achilles heel, is people coming in and just meeting dogs who have just the fucking saddest backstories.
Yeah.
So it's not sad necessarily in like all of these like people and or dogs have sad backstories, which sometimes they do. This is my weak point of people getting very happy when they find the right pet for their family. And and so I'm just over here like, this is supposed to be a light show and I'm just heaving and weeping. But it's beautiful. It's all very set up. It's very, very well produced. And I'm obsessed with it. There was one that I just finished watching where a couple came in and they had 2 dogs, and one of their dogs had like passed away a year ago. And so they were trying to find a new family member because their dogs were sad.
Stop it.
And so they got a recommendation, and they like did this little date for their dog, and I was like weeping, like like sobbing because it went so well. And then we got to see like 6 months later how things were going, and I'm just over here like an absolute mess. So if you like it, but you are not as weepy as I am, it'll still be a very lighthearted show and great. I still recommend it regardless.
Yeah.
Because it's very well done and great. But it has brought me an immense amount of joy. I just cry very easily at this kind of content.
Sure, yeah.
Not at a lot of other things, just this.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I often forget that Max, because they have gutted a lot of these shows that I like, that are like the British or more like, not even competition show, but more of like casual interest shows like this, of like
Yes.
dogs, or like making flower arrangements, or pottery or jewelry or whatever. And because they have killed and removed many of those things, I forget that some of them still exist. And this looks amazing. I did Google image this, and particularly the dog for the season 4 poster is the fakest looking dog I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
This looks like a teddy bear. Like, this is Paddington or Corduroy, just like coming back to life.
It does. I will say the dog on the poster that I showed does look very AI generated.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on here.
But they all just have like hilarious names.
God,
like,
of course.
and they're all British too, so it's like, we are going to recommend this dog named Midge.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you mean?
Oh, beautiful.
Or like, we're going to recommend you try out meeting this dog named Gretchen. And it's like, what?
Yeah. A dog named Gretchen is perfect. Yes.
And so it's just really beautiful, and they're, you know, like they're like 20-minute episodes because they were probably 30 minutes with commercials. So apparently it's on Max, so I'm gonna, you know, once Hacks finishes, and I get my month for this year of HBO, I'm gonna watch it on there because I've just been watching it on this YouTube
Right, yeah.
Channel that I've subscribed to that apparently just has all UK shows. So I've been watching like UK So You Think You Can Dance.
Oh,
dope as shit.
Hell yeah. Okay.
But if you want to watch like the real version,
Yeah.
apparently it's on HBO Max as well.
Okay. Hell yeah.
So it's happy. It just might also make you cry.
Yeah.
If you but not bad cry.
Yeah.
Not like this episode made me bad cry.
Yeah, fuck this episode.
Fuck this episode so bad.
Like, literally, fuck off with this.
So I will say I was very grateful for the preview this week because I feel like so much happened with the lore dump last week.
Yeah.
That the previously on was needed. So thank you, Peacock, for always doing that. Also, have you noticed their captions have changed?
I have not.
They have started doing italics in the previously on.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I think
Which
I've
they
seen
didn't
that.
used to do
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it. It was just a very subtle change that Peacock has done.
Okay.
But I fully forgot, like, I shouldn't have because we talked about it a lot last episode, but, like, Slater
Yeah.
got.
Rip. Wanted to see more of you, bud.
Because, like, all I remembered before I watched this episode was, like, it was all about Catherine, that we now know as Katarina.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, yeah, Luca showed up.
Right.
We had the whole Slater thing.
Yeah. It was one of those,
It was
it always makes me nervous before we watch an episode where the previously on is, like, really long. And it's like, oh,
Yes.
hey, let's make some polls from, like, episodes ago. And it's like, oh, no. What are we doing here, guys? Why are we bringing this up from a couple episodes ago? I'm scared.
It was stressful.
Yeah.
And to know, and I know that we had briefly brought this up last week, but, like, this isn't the episode before the winter break. Next week's is.
Yeah.
And that is confusing.
Right.
Because what do you mean?
This was supposed to be the big event.
Right.
I'm confused.
This is the first time in this show that I had to watch an episode twice.
Oh, really?
And I think that it's because I started changing my routine of, like, I started watching the episodes on, this is take y'all behind the curtain, we record on Saturdays. So I started watching them on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And doing my notes then. And I woke up this morning and I was like, I don't remember how I feel about this. I just remember writing down a lot of notes.
Yeah.
And so I watched it when I had breakfast this morning and I was like, I remember writing down a lot of notes about Damon and Elena, but because I was so focused on taking down notes, I didn't remember, like, noticing on screen how stressful Ian's eyes were.
Don't even get me started.
That motherfucker needed to look away from the camera a couple times because his eyes were like, you need to put those peepers away.
Yeah, please give him some brown contacts. I'm shaking.
No, he's so scary. And I don't know that I would have noticed that if I just watched it once.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like, non-speaking but very important acting going on here with facial expressions and slight movements and body language.
Ian felt like this episode, he felt like one of those toys where you squeeze it and the eyes get bigger.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I thought they were gonna pop out at some point. I was like, buddy, you are staring so very intensely, and I'm a little nervous for your eyeballs. You haven't blinked in 45 minutes.
It felt like the editors made his eyes bigger. I hated it. I hated it so bad. How did you feel? How did you feel about this episode?
Listen, there was so many things happening, and also at a very quick pace. So my notes were, like, very funny looking back on, because I literally have a note where I'm like, okay, Jeremy, in all caps, and then immediately after being like, no, Jeremy.
No, exactly. There was no time to breathe.
Yeah, I was
episode.
I was having trouble keeping up, because I was like, I thought everything was going great. No, not great. Everything's really bad now. It sucks.
I'm so glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Jeremy, this episode...
Dude.
He is gonna give me an ulcer.
Can't with this boy. I need him to just, like, not make an appearance for several episodes, because I'm missing the times where we didn't see him for a while, because then at least I knew he was safe. Now I'm like, he's too involved. He needs to get back out of here.
The only thing is, like, at least I know when he's on screen I can account for where he is.
Right.
Now I'm worried because he started to get a little, like, fuck around and find out attitude.
Yes.
That if I don't see him, I'm gonna be like, oh, well, did he just go and, like, track down Klaus himself?
Right. He's in his reputation era right now, and that worries me. Very extremely.
In the past, if I didn't see him, I'd be like, oh, well, at least I know he's, like, going to school.
Sure.
I can't assume that now.
Yeah, we can't be sure he's at the library, you know, safe.
Exactly.
Anymore. Which is fucked up, because he's just trying to be useful again, and being like, hey, I'm actually, like, part of this group, and, like, you can think that you're, like, babysitting me or whatever, but I look, like a 30-year-old man, so fuck that. And second of all, I do provide value here, and all of you are a little not good at making plans and executing on them. So
Damon set him off this episode.
Yeah, being like, why are you even here?
You're just a 16-year-old boy. Like, I don't understand why you're here. And he was like, you know what?
Yeah, bet. Okay, I'll show you. What if I risk my life so many times in succession?
You don't know why I'm here. You don't think I'm useful. And also, Bonnie, who I have a crush on, doesn't see that I'm powerful. So I'm going to just take some of these ashes and go fight my vampire not sister.
Yeah.
How about that?
You forget that I'm a teenager with something to prove and no sense of, like, self-preservation. So
you forget that I'm a 16-year-old who thinks that I'm immortal.
Yeah.
Because that's what 16-year-olds do. And I have a ring that literally makes me immortal.
Right.
So go fuck yourself. I'm going to go fight a vampire.
Yeah.
He... First of all, nothing about... And this is why I have no remorse for thirsting after Stephen McQueen in this show.
Yeah.
Because nothing about this character looks like a 16-year-old.
Right.
There is a moment when he is facing off against Catherine where they're showing, like, the backside of this tomb. Mm-hmm. His forearms, that's not what a 16-year-old looks like. Yeah. It's absolutely not. It's absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, I don't have a problem with it. If that was an actual 16-year-old instead,
it'd be a different story.
I'd vomit.
Yeah.
There's no way. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now. However... I refuse to believe that the first time that Catherine bit him, he didn't like it a little bit.
I mean, hello.
That's like his whole thing.
It's his, that's like his king.
Canonically.
Yes, like within the story itself, very deliberately. So, and listen, and also him having the ring, right? Like, obviously that was important with, like, the Damon stuff earlier on and everything. But now it's kind of like, it's kind of hot to die and then be brought back. Or not, like... That's,
like, his whole...
Like,
that's Jeremy's whole thing.
His whole thing is he wants to be dead so badly.
Yeah.
Because of so many reasons, so much trauma, right? But it is kind of cool for him to be like, what if it's a hot thing, though? If I do technically die, but, like, I'm still not, like, dead. And it also can be, like, a sexy vampire thing. Because he does have a certain flavor and preference.
It is so telling that he didn't look good when Stefan and Damon and Bonnie came down, right? But he wasn't screaming for help.
No, he was like, hey, you know, that's what's going on. It's not the worst place to be. You know, I don't feel great, but hey.
Jeremy, you're so obvious.
Meanwhile, just, like, blood all over his face and everything. He's like, I feel a little drunk maybe, but I'm all right, you know? You can just leave me here.
Jeremy, do you notice how everyone around you is more worried about your health and well-being than you are?
Yeah. Interesting. Something to think about.
I know that there was probably a deleted scene where Catherine was like, hey, so usually I get enjoyment out of torturing people. Mm-hmm. You're liking this, though. And that gives me no enjoyment.
Right. It's only good for me if you're, like, scared and think you're gonna die.
And I taste no fear in your blood.
Right,
so what's
up?
up?
Actually a little excited and turned on by this, which kind of has the opposite effect on me. So I don't know. I could do it. I don't know if I'm gonna. You're just gonna sit here in the corner, maybe. Just like
yeah. Just sit here in the corner and think about what you've done. Yeah. Jeremy.
Just throws a book of Sudoku or something. It's like, fucking play a puzzle. I don't know. Fucking annoying me.
Go read this book about my family history. Yeah. You're in timeout. God. While we were talking about him, by the way. Yeah. The fact that he only got fired up this episode
Yeah.
was when, earlier on in the episode, when he was like, Bonnie, I'm worried about your powers.
Mm-hmm.
He only got fired up in the tomb when he was like, Stefan, you need to watch out for Bonnie. She can't do this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in a like, she's a woman. She can't do this. He was like, hey, your grandmother literally died
Right.
when there were two of you. Can someone please watch out for this woman that I have a crush on?
And somebody
Please
gave a fuck about Bonnie once. Ever.
When
like,
she was literally a day ago, she passed out.
Like, guys, come on now.
Can you stop using her as a tool in your belt?
Yeah.
Please and things. And then, when they got back to the house,
Yeah.
and he slammed, and I'm saying that in quotes, that kitchen cabinet, but it's a fake house, so it couldn't slam.
Right. And being like, don't act like this is one-sided.
Oh my god.
Hello? And I'm being like, you just think that, like, I'm your, I'm just the kid brother of your friend, and that's not what this is. I mean, it is, but it's also, you have something here, but you won't let yourself. So, are we back? Question mark? Are we so back? Who knows?
I was proud of Bonnie.
Yeah.
In that moment. Because again, as much as these two have chemistry with each other, and I love it.
Yeah.
I don't actually want it.
No. I
don't
think
want
Jeremy
it.
just needs to feel this. As much as he is currently, I don't think they should do anything about it, particularly. Because I don't think
But
that's
when
good.
he touched her face.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like they both have a very similar core wound, right? Of like, the people I love die.
Right.
Or go away. So it's obviously it's not going to work for a variety of reasons. But God, it's just, I kind of like it, but I don't want it.
Yeah. Like,
I don't want it.
I just would love a scenario in which both Bonnie and Jeremy could be, like, respected and cared for as human beings without having to be based on a romantic situation. I just want someone to look at Bonnie and being like, hey, you're a friend to me, and I want to look out for you. Because there's like a weird voodoo doll situation going on with you and this warlock. Not that they know that, but like, you seem like you're not doing so hot, baby girl. And you're doing too much, and you're always helping us, and nobody's helping you. And it doesn't have to be, I love you, and I want to kiss you. It could just, we could just care about one another, right? That's like an idea we can have.
That's what I really want. It's just that these two have a lot of chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
So I like that,
Yeah.
but I don't want it. I don't want it.
It's not good for me or for anyone.
It just makes me sad because Bonnie sees anyone giving her affection and does the thing that Jeremy does, which is like, instead of Jeremy being like, are you my dad? She's like, do you love me?
Right, yeah. Is this romance?
And usually I would think, right, that Grams would have taught her to be a little bit more street smarts. Yeah. But Luca, somehow, I guess maybe he has like a +10 charisma because she has no guard up with him from the jump.
His charisma is through the roof. That little channeling scene.
Oh my god.
He was putting out all the stops. Are you kidding? That was like, I was like, I know this is not going to be good for this, but for either of them. But it is pretty cute that she kind of feels like, oh my god, a main character moment. Like, the wind is flowing around us. We're the only two people in the world. And I was like, ah.
It's just, we know Bonnie has spidey senses. Yeah. Right?
Right.
And so for her to not have them on with him, and maybe, right, like, we saw a little bit with Luca and his dad later on. Mm-hmm. I'm curious how much Luca actually knows in comparison to his dad. Yeah. So that might be a part of it, but I'm just like, girl. Yeah. Is it not convenient? Mm-hmm. Is it not convenient?
Right. And
But I get it.
Yeah, and my suspicion is that I don't think Luca knew that was the thing that was happening. Like, I think his dad is much more, like, locked in, and I think he was trying to be his dad was trying to be more subtle, being like, you should be friends with her. Like, just be close to her because you need her. And he was like, bet I'm going to make our souls intertwine because that's really romantic and cool and it's going to be great. And there's nothing that bad can happen of that. And maybe he's a little horny, shit happens. And then it's like, that's actually too close. That's too much because that's going to hurt both of you. And now you have this weird connection that is could be very much exploited and will be.
That would track, given that Anna didn't know a lot that Pearl knew. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So I would believe it, and a part of me hopes that Luca didn't go into it being like, I'm going to make her fall in love with me, and then I'm going to break her goddamn heart. It's just, Bonnie. Yeah.
Girly Bob.
Bonnie, no.
I believe.
You have heart eyes. And I get it, because Luke is beautiful.
Yeah, he's a gorgeous.
And then he did the whole, global warming man thing to Jeremy.
Yeah. I get it. It's the Riz is out of control.
Yeah. So I get it, Bonnie. I get it. It's just, I want you to be careful, because I'm scared for you. Yeah. Because no one apparently has your best interests in mind. Mm-hmm. And I want you to take care of yourself. That's all.
Yeah. Really quick, can we talk about what the fuck Rick was on at the beginning?
His fucking chunky monkey ass self.
I literally, my first note, I need Rick to never, ever say the phrase chunky monkey again. That was violent. The first, 2 minutes of this episode was violence against me. There was a lot of, more heart-wrenching stuff that was happening, but that was the most fucked up thing I saw and experienced this episode. It was sick and twisted.
The way that they're making Rick out, I think, is very funny to me. Yeah. That he is this full, weapons dude that apparently is just, has no thoughts in his brain.
Right.
I think that's hilarious.
And meanwhile, there continues to be intruders in their home that no one is aware of, except for Elena.
No basic security system.
No.
In this home.
God, it continues to astound me every time. And, listen, am I happy for Jenna getting, dick down? For sure. Good for you. Get some ice cream, Love that. But, maybe, just maybe
Can we have balance?
Can we have some balance? Though? Just a little bit of stranger danger. Just a little bit of awareness of the people that continue to come in and out of your home without you knowing. How?
And I'm not necessarily saying that it needs to go full, panic room, cameras everywhere. But why are you not aware that a stranger got into your home, stole your, proxy daughter's hair and photo, and just got out? And it wasn't a vampire. It was just he's a witch. Right. He just walked in and out.
Right. Hello?
Embarrassing.
God. Yeah, Rick is on my shit list right now. I never want to hear him say chunky monkey again. That was fucked up.
When he said he was naked, I got full on scared.
Yeah, me too. Boxers. I was like, wait, for real? Because I was like, okay, that would be funny. I mean, not funny. That would be fucked up. But he was holding this bowl of ice cream, very covering his penis, right? And I was like, oh, is he actually naked? And that's because he did hold the bowl up. So I was like, did he just flash this child?
Yeah, that's what
what's
I thought
going
too.
on? And then he was not naked. He was wearing shorts, but it was more of a spiritual nakedness, I suppose, feeling a little vulnerable. That's fine. Don't say that though, when for the last 2.5 minutes the cut has been just your chest up. I don't know what's going down over there, They looked all pretty spooked. I was
terrified.
So it could have been. That would have been nuts, but it could have been.
I was so nervous. Yeah. Especially because the fact that, this is the only thing that we're seeing of Jenna in this episode. Right. So presumably, all we know of canonically is that she has been having Rick stay over frequently. Yeah. Which Elena's fine with. She's like, yeah, girl, that's fine.
Yeah, go off, girl.
But, Jenna, why are you not aware of what is happening to your proxy children? Yeah. Why is it that when later on this episode, Jeremy comes home, having been, stages from death, like sliver from death, right? You're not immediately like, hello?
Right. Like, hey, bud, what the fuck happened?
What do you mean? Like, I need to know a little bit more context so that I'm not always upset at you, Jenna. Because I want to believe better in you.
Right.
But if you're just always, like, in your room, post-transformation of Belle and Edward, like, if you're just, like, fucking Rick all the time, then I'm going to be upset.
Right, yeah. I'm gonna have some strong words, Jenna.
Like, they are minors. They still need your help.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Speaking of Twilight, do you want to talk about this?
The references in this episode... Not only did we get Alice, but literally Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, the full name drop. Because it was the fucking password, which is so funny. It's so good. And, like, all the folders are, like, you know, vampire names and references. God, see,
I need Slater to come back. I miss this man so much.
It is not a want, but a need. I don't know how I can continue watching this if he never, ever shows up ever again. Because there were now we just keep getting posthumous Easter eggs that are of what we could have had. And I would have loved him to just, like, queen out with Damon and have some, like, vampire lore, pop culture marathons together. Like, is that a crime to want that?
It's so important to me. Slater is now my favorite character, and I'm never gonna see him again.
It's so fucked up. It's only downhill from here.
Especially because of the fact that, like, not only did they name this character Alice, but I always find it super interesting when vampires keep humans around with this promise of, I'm gonna change you.
Right.
Because Alice was a full-on fangirl.
Yeah.
Of vampires in this world. Girl. Embarrassing.
Yeah. Have some respect for yourself. Stand up, girl. Come on.
Stand up, girl.
God.
And the way that Damon reacted to her.
Yeah.
Damon was a favorite this episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
But, like, the moment that he had with Alice of, like, get this girl the fuck out of my face was so important to me.
Oh, my goodness.
I will say, this is one of the first times that Elena, not Nina, but Elena was very interesting to me.
Like, fucking finally some food, right? Some good fucking food. Because now she's in a position where, and again, like, it goes back to Stefan and Damon not really being good at plans, right? And they're just kind of like
the communication with these two.
It's tough. It's not great. And also, they're not very good at it. And they're just very in this still, like, whatever happens, happens lifestyle. And it's like, I need y'all to fucking wake up. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, Elena's out here making plans, making deals, and trying to, like...
She's making moves.
You know, the real sacrifice is the sacrifice of her not to, like, you know, break this spell, hypothetically, but, like, to make sure that, like, everyone she loves is okay, and, like, she's fine to be the price for that. And nobody seems to understand that. And, like, obviously it's kind of, like, a lot, right? But, like...
Right.
Everyone's being like, no, it's fine, like, it's about, we all have to protect you, like, your little baby Fabergé egg damsel girl, who's so weak and so small and so fragile. And she's like, actually, fuck that, I'm trying to save you all, which also, you guys are not worth it, by the way. Like, you guys are not proving to me, but I'm here doing this for Jenna, or doing this for my brother, doing this for my friends and family, and fuck it, I don't give a fuck anymore, I'm tired of being in the middle of all this shit, and, like, being the one doppelganger, whatever, that can do anything here. Like, fuck y'all. I'm out.
I noticed when I was jotting down notes with this episode that what really struck me was this is the first episode that she as a character, Elena as a character, really stood out to me. And I really liked her a lot.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that she reminded me a lot of Bella. And I think that it's important that it's not that she's endearing to me because she's willing to sacrifice herself.
Right.
Like, I don't think that that's what stood out to me.
Yeah.
I think it's that what I appreciated about Bella as a character and what I like about Elena this episode is that they're both like, fuck you making choices for me.
Right. Yes.
I want, and you like not even, you're coming to me telling me what the plan is.
Right.
I want to have agency in this. Mm-hmm. When the plan seems to be that all of the people around me are going to die and or get hurt.
Right.
So if I get agency in this, I want to use it. Sure, that means right now that, like, I might get hurt, but I at least want a choice in this.
Right. And it's like, if y'all are just going to keep talking about me and making me, like, the number one part of, you know, she's the key to every potential plan from any side of this thing. And she's like, motherfucker, like, you keep saying it's like, this is the only thing we can do. And it's like, actually, fuck it. Like,
no.
What if I thought of something or decided my fate in this situation rather than, like, let you guys control it under the guise of protection, which is pretty transactional at this moment.
It is a way more interesting character choice to me.
For sure.
That, I mean, I don't know that it always has to be this idea of, like, a woman having to, like, sacrifice herself for humanity.
Yeah.
But a hero having to sacrifice themselves for humanity is very common. So, like, that's normal, I guess.
Right.
What I loved about her was, like, I'm going to use everything that I know you want. So, like, Rose, I know that you want to be able to walk in daylight.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you to Virginia. Alice, I know that you want to be a vampire. I don't know why, but let's get you to do this.
Yeah. Not my first choice, but all right, girl, whatever.
And Rose doesn't... She, like, probes a little bit about what Elena's motivation is, but not enough. So when it finally comes out there, she's, like, fully shocked.
Yeah.
Girl, you're embarrassing.
Yeah. Like, can anyone here...
What did you think this was?
Pay attention to the things that are happening.
No, and apparently no is the answer.
No. It's too much to ask.
How did the spell that Elijah had... So I was curious about this because I didn't know what he was actually going to use the photo and hair for.
Right.
I was like, God, I don't know. This could literally be anything.
Yeah, this guy is sick and twisted. There's nothing he won't consider.
No, literally. Moment. And so for it to just be like a location spell, the way that they showed it, I thought was super interesting. What I wasn't expecting, though, was for Damon to show up.
Yeah. And
for that whole scene to play out the way that it did.
Dude.
Because the two of them is the way that they interacted at Slater's apartment and at Elena's porch, I think and in the tomb.
Yeah.
Those 3 moments I think are gonna haunt me for the rest of my life.
Rest of my life. Yeah. Same with him ripping out 2 hearts at once.
Oh my God.
Was the most just vile thing I've ever seen with such a quickness.
And this isn't even Klaus. This is just Elijah.
Yeah, this is just like the, henchman number 1, powerful henchman number 1 here in this scenario. So what the fuck has Klaus got going on, Like, I'm scared.
The way that he did that too, it's so hard to see Elijah as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he is, objectively.
Right. But
that moment was so scary, but also so cool.
Yeah, it was cool as fuck. Are you kidding? He did that so fast. He has no mercy. He doesn't give a shit.
Especially when Damon was like, wait a second, I killed you.
Yeah, it's like, buddy, I need you to catch up here, okay? He is standing in front of you. We don't need to do the back and forth.
With 2 hearts in his hands. Like, get it together, Damon.
How about you get the fuck out of here? Jesus Christ.
And he says something later on the porch of like, if I had a nickel for every time that an evil vampire did something confusing. And it's like, Damon, I need you to get it together. Why would Elijah let you leave with the doppelganger?
Yeah. And, yeah, because it's like, Elena rightfully is like, that was weird. Like, he probably should have killed us right then. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. It's fine. And it's like, I need you to stop underestimating the people who have been here and vampires longer than you have by, like, tenfold or whatever. Like, can we stop this, please? Because they know stuff that you don't. And you think you're the king of the world. You're not. And you don't know shit, actually. So how about we have a little bit more self-preservation and street smarts? How about this?
The way that he was acting in regards to Elijah felt like a chihuahua. Like, all bark this episode. And so when he actually got to Slater's apartment and saw Elena...
Yeah.
And used his, like, full strength on her, I had my jaw on the floor. Yeah. Because he hasn't done that to her before.
Yeah, he's always been very careful about that.
This man, especially when, like, knowing full well that she does not have the knowledge of what happened in her bedroom, of him saying that he loves her. But they're, like, inches away from each other. Yeah. And her being like, Klaus is going to kill everyone I love. And she's staring at him. And he has his eyes, like, a wooga. Yeah, they're
bulging at impressive diameters.
She's looking him up and down. And he's like, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, you don't get to make decisions anymore. Yeah. Because you are reckless. And third, it was like, get your ass out of the door before I throw you over my shoulder and carry you out myself.
The way
he meant it. He said... He full on meant it.
The way I paused and went back and listened to that like 4 times. I was losing it. Losing it.
He meant it, and yet I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Like, alright.
Well, interesting, Damon. It would have pissed me off if you had said that to me, but also...
Right. Okay. in a different context and scenario, that is incredible fanfic fodder. Maybe not in the way that it is currently in this moment, because it is a little controlling and abusive. But in other contexts, totally very good.
It's just and him, like, looking her in the face on that porch and being like, what you did was embarrassing.
And incredibly, quote, stupid.
Yeah, and you know better, and only I get to make those decisions. And she's like, motherfucker, this is literally why I did this. Yeah. Because I don't question, like, no one questions you all when you get to make these decisions. So, fuck you, first of all. And then, when this scene in the tomb, I think, is the most painful thing for me, because...
the most fucked up thing I've ever witnessed.
When I watched it the first time, all that I had written down and noticed was how much Elena was fighting against Damon. Yeah. And I must have looked down when I was writing that. It wasn't until I watched it again this morning that I had noticed the, like, quick pan to Catherine and Stefan, who were, like, right around the corner listening and didn't do anything. Nope. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Yeah, it's like, you don't even need, like, the visual indicator, because obviously it's like she is very much struggling against this physical altercation, but also she is, like, screaming, right? Like, very directly so like, loud. Like, get off of me, don't touch me, like, stop grabbing me, etc. And these motherfuckers are just, like, kikiing in the tomb, chilling out, vibing. And Stefan's like, alright, just be good, make sure she's good. It's like, can you do anything with your brain or your body? Like, what is happening?
And we know from the past times that Stefan and Catherine have been alone when they've been, like, fighting, and even when Damon's been there too, Catherine has been so obvious of, like, your brother loves Elena. Right. Don't leave them alone together. He loves her. And so to see that, like, quick pan where they're not even, Stefan and Catherine aren't looking at each other. Yeah. I think she was sitting down and he was, like, staring off. Yeah. it's so obvious in that moment from their posture of like, I told you so.
Yeah. Like, it's Jover. It's so Jover.
And so for him to be like, for Damon to be like, why did you save Jeremy? Because of course he did, right? Like, of course he switched spots with Jeremy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Stefan can't fight up against Catherine, but he's a little bit stronger
Right, yeah.
than Jeremy is. But him being like, I have 3 asks. I have 3 wishes for this gin in a bottle.
Yeah.
Continue to work with Bonnie and keep Elena away from this tomb no matter what, and then keep her safe.
Yeah.
You have to promise me. And Damon's like, oh yeah, bro.
For
No
sure.
problem.
Yeah.
For sure, bro.
No problemo.
And no sweat off my back, brah.
Yeah. And then Catherine's just like chuckling to herself. It's like, you fool. You lost her. It's over. Like, have fun
It's so Joker,
in eternity
bro.
with me, baby. It's tomb time. Let's go.
I don't need to get out now. I got exactly what I wanted.
Right. This was my whole plan. How do you feel about Stockholm Syndrome? Let's get that revving up, right? Let's just have a little
literally.
fun here.
Oh my god, also, C-plot. How did you feel about Caroline and Tyler?
Oh my gosh. This was brutal. This whole...
It was like the first time I actually cared.
No, literally. I was like, okay, like, he's got plot. He's got things that are interesting about him. Because he has the, it's full moon time. He's like, oh shit, I'm gonna
Yeah, I
be
think it's
Wolfman.
like, it's gonna be next episode.
Right, yeah, it's like, it's coming up, this is the time, and I'm really scared. And Caroline is like, hey motherfucker, I've planned every event in this town and in this school, which is
I loved that moment so much.
5-time-a-week thing at minimum. So you probably need my help and you shouldn't push me away because you're scared. Because I was scared. And I was also alone. And you don't have to.
That moment.
Yeah. So good.
When her talking about when she was alone killed me.
It's so good. And she's incredible. But like, and I'm like, okay, I care about this as a relationship in whatever form it is.
I'm interested.
Yeah. And I also like thought it was so brutal but also beautiful that he was essentially left behind the like how to turn into a werewolf video guide and pamphlet handbook.
Mason being a vlogger.
Yeah, Mason has his YouTube era. He's like, all right, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be screaming for 6 straight hours while I become a god.
Welcome to Jackass.
A creature of against God and light and love. So come on in, let's go. And like a very detailed.
What up? My name's Steve-O. I'm gonna turn into a werewolf. Welcome to Jackass. God,
I need it so bad. Can someone do that? Can someone make that a thing? I want werewolf Jackass so bad.
What up? My name's Bam. I'm gonna drink this gallon jug of Wolfsbane and turn into a werewolf over the next 12 hours. Welcome to Jackass.
Ugh, I need it. And like, obviously this is very emotional for Tyler, because it's like, there's Mason, there's my boy.
Tyler looked like every freshman in high school that watches that like 1950s birth video that you do in health class.
It's like, oh, is that what it's like? Is that what happened? That sucks.
Face white, ashen. He's sweating.
Yeah. He's like, what if I just killed myself? Because I do not want to do this.
No, literally.
It's like, ooh.
It was like every abstinence only health class of like, if you have sex, you're gonna die.
Right. He's like, actually, I'm so good. Never again. Actually, I'm not gonna do this. And also it's like a very emotional thing of like the pain and stuff with it, and like also this was not like his choice proper, and now he's stuck in this thing, and also he does have these like tools to help him and Caroline, but like he does not have the like proper in-person guidance and help and just like camaraderie that would have actually been really helpful for him. And so now he's kind of doing it on his own, but like not really. So at least he has like a groundwork and a foundation to work on, but it's like not the same. And also being like, that seems like he was really hurting and in pain the whole time, and that's gonna be me, and that's gonna suck so bad.
So 2 things. One, when they pulled that journal out of the cloth, from the place that Caroline obviously knew nothing about.
Yeah.
I totally thought that it was going to be his dad's and not Mason's.
Yeah.
Because they still have never gone back on that. Like, why the fuck was his dad able to hear that dog sound?
Yeah.
So, but okay, sure.
Right. Like, what's going on, guys?
Sure. That makes sense. Also, second thing, it was so distracting to watch that on that laptop, which was like pretty smooth product placement, I'll say.
Sure.
But I just kept focusing on the Zune app.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted to know what was on Mason's Zune app.
Yeah. It's
really
like,
bad.
It's like, hey, I know you're watching and scrubbing through a really intense video right now that's like 24 hours long. Can you just like real quick go down to the bottom here and open up Zune and play
What's on your uncle's Zoom? Is it like Jack Johnson or
Right.
what's up?
What's going on? You got a killer playlist?
He's from
in
Florida,
there?
right?
Yeah. I want to know.
Or is it more like reggae? Is it like, what is it? You know?
Right.
This was the first, I will say, because I've dogged on Tyler and the werewolf stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time, and I think it was because they kind of leaned into the like Blair Witch. You know what? Blair Wolf makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
The Blair Wolf project of it all. With the technology that I was really invested in it, which I appreciated. I still don't. I'm still bored with it, but this was the first time that I emotionally cared about Tyler. I will say the whole like Matt, Tyler, Caroline, I don't care.
Yeah.
Matt sounded really sad this episode, so like good on his acting.
Right.
But the whole like they're trying to force what media thinks is a love triangle, not in the way that like Challengers is an actual love triangle.
Right.
That I don't care about.
Yeah.
These two trying to help each other
Yeah.
as monsters, that I care about.
Yeah.
That's what, like, in theory, Bonnie and Jeremy should be.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get past this, like, oh, I just have teen hormones thing.
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, next week is, like, very much full moon. Like, I think it's literally titled By the Light of the Moon. And it's the midwinter finale.
Yeah. I'm going to throw up.
Which stresses me out.
Can't wait.
Like, I'm nervous. I don't understand. I don't know. I'm worried about, like, if Tyler ends up actually transforming, if he's going to hurt Caroline.
Yeah.
And that stresses me out.
Yeah.
But we shall see.
Whew.
What an episode, ma'am. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Maya Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ow. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Karp.
Ow. Thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh, thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ow. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ow. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily O'Zera. Pew, pew, pew.
This is a fanfiction for you.
What a treat.
It is by the author only_more_love. And it is titled Dirty Little Secret.
Fuck yes.
The summary is a tag for the season 2 episode 10 scene in which Damon confronts Elena during her attempt to surrender to Klaus.
I hate you. You know that? I hate you for letting us revel in this continuously. Jeez.
This is only one chapter, so I'm reading just a little bit of it. Still gripping her tiny fist, dwarfing it with his own, Damon leaned in, his movements deliberate, letting Elena feel his leash strength, until her breath came in jagged grasps, misting warm against his face. Don't ever Do that again, he said in a rough whisper, swallowing hard as their gazes met and locked until those coal black lashes of hers fluttered close and then open again. They stood so close, her heartbeat was a hammer in his own chest. For an illusory moment, he felt alive, truly alive. Every unnecessary breath he took carried her scent to him, a sour top note of fear, a sharp middle note of adrenaline, and a musky bass note that had him pressing his hips into her before he could think better of it. Arousal. He knew her dirty little secret now, and he would guard it as closely as he guarded his own, for the moment. Reluctantly, he eased away, marking her with his eyes. Elena Gilbert wanted him. End scene.
All right, so I'm just going to walk into Lake Michigan and never come back. I think that's
I'm just going to claw my own eyes out instead.
You're never going to see me again. It's over. Well, this is the end of Into the Twilight. Thank you so much for listening to us through all these years, but I can't anymore. It's over.
Just knowing that, like, these two hips pressed against each other were like, I hate you so much, I need to kiss you. And then Elijah was like, what's up, motherfuckers? I'm going to rip these two hearts out. Welcome to Jackass. Like,
yeah, it's a wide range of emotional beats here.
Because you know he had hyper hearing. Like, he could hear this. He was waiting outside the door for his moment.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, is it good now? Mm-hmm. I'm going to kick this door down.
No.
I love him for his drama. Thank you to this author for bringing me unmistakable pain.
Yep.
Please always send your fan fictions to us that will cause us emotional damage.
Yeah.
Appreciate it so much. Tell your friends about the show.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.